We're at all-time highs, everybody. We did it. So our final objective has been met. All bullish, right? We said once we leave this range, we would expect that continued delivery. So we finally get out of it. Straight bullish run. If I'm being completely honest, I almost want us to go bearish now. Just because all-time highs are nice and all, but as far as targeting, pretty hard to target things because there's obviously nothing there, right? As far as today, we may have to, I'm not really too sure. Let's see. I do feel like we're going to want to keep running, which means we're going to have to start using some projections and whatnot. Daily fair value gap held, like we said, so we were looking at that yesterday. We said that we would expect this most recent one to hold. Yeah, today will be interesting. We'll see. So obviously we're going to run into this, I'm assuming. The long I was eyeing up was as we come back down into the inefficiency, displacing above original liquidity, fair value gap that holds nicely. Easy 5-handle run. Retracement into OB. Holds us, and then buy side should be next. NQ already cleared that. So we're at all-time new highs as well. Oh, wait, no, we're not. So we might actually, or are we? We actually might be. Hold up. Oh, yeah. All right. So we're all-time highs all around the board. Held that, displacing above it. All right, all right, all right. Well, we'll see what we get at 9:30. Potential turtle soup, honestly, right here. We'll look for confirmation, but if you're trying to learn how to utilize turtle soups, right, you can just kind of follow them like this. And we could think that 9:30 tends to create a Judas swing, so because NQ hasn't ran out this high yet, or NQ already ran out this high and ES hasn't, potentially if 9:30 kind of like runs up first, that could be a turtle soup for a slight retracement into the high here. Displacement above that high, we'll have to just keep looking for bullish moves, honestly. And then as we said, we'll have to just use projections. So we'll take the most recent swing, project that out, 2, 3, right? Things like that. We could even use the half. Large opening range. So honestly, I would favor a return into opening range. Sell side here, right? That sell side is perfectly the opening range gaps and midpoint to the tick. So I like that. That's kind of what I'll aim for if we can get there. Okay, so what I would look for is we're probably going to close above. We'll see. At this point, I'd want reversal, though. Closure above, leaving a fair value gap. I'd wait for that to get inverted. That's kind of what I'd be trying to play off of. $62.80, 15. Yeah. Geez, that is so bullish, though. Holy cow. Yeah, if we start breaking, I could see that. But this is pretty bullish, honestly. So we may just have to try to target a run higher, jump on board. So as we said, we'll see if we leave a fair value gap here. That's what I'm going to look at. Fair value gap created as we blast through close above. As we often say, oh, I mean, okay. Especially if it gets created like this. That's the same level. So if this candle here doesn't go any lower and creates this fair value gap, we might actually just hold there. We do. Okay. Like I said, I would rather go short, but I don't think we're going to want to do that. We'll just have to follow this bullish price leg. We'll see if we create today's first presented at all. Back-to-back volume imbalances. All right, so once again, bullish. And we created a first presented today. So we might even just use that. What is that? Can we get at least? I think we might try this here, actually. We just seem bullish. From the low to the high, we've pretty much completely retraced into the NFP range. Where we leave, we've rebalanced all of everything in here, so I don't mind that. We might just run though, using first presented. So we're just going to use that buy side, as we said. That fair value gap that gets created is perfectly aligned with the buy side. So we're just going to use that level exactly. Consequent encroachment, old buy side. Displacement above. Stop loss will just be right under the most recent swing, and we'll try to actually not return into the opening range. 5 minute, yeah. Okay, so I'd want the 5 minute here to be a breakaway gap. We can go like this. 2 minutes, same. I'd want that to be a breakaway. It's okay. I'm fine with that. If we invert this, that'll be fine, because then we could actually try to short. So I'm fine trying twice here. This would be like the flip point, right? As long as we can hold that, I would expect bullishness. But if we invert that, I don't mind trying one more to short to close out the week. This will be the last stream of the week, by the way. Obviously, tomorrow is 4th of July. Market's open, but only for a half day. Plus, I'll be moving. So the next few days, I guess just over the weekend, I should be settled by hopefully Tuesday. So if I am, next Tuesday will be the next stream. But if not, we might have to wait till next Wednesday. Yeah, we might just run using first presented and that volume imbalance right there. Extreme bullishness. Well, NQ is going to hold this fair value gap would be my assumption. Nah, just moving states again, man. My girl does travel therapy, so we move every 3 to 6 months. So just a whole new spot. In Texas right now, we'll head out to Colorado Springs. Be there for a few months before we move again. Eventually we'll settle down, get a nice crib, but not yet. It's a beautiful thing about trading right there. Allows the freedom to kind of pick up and move whenever we want. So ES is a lot stronger than NQ at the moment. If I'm being honest, the more that we move away from this, the less I want to just enter on it right away. Like when I see things like this, I'd like for it to retrace quickly. We've moved a significant amount. Like if we move halfway from where I want to enter to where I want to exit, so it's kind of another little thing that I like to do. So I usually kind of just look at the ranges, right? I could eyeball it, but we'll show it exactly here. Most of the time, if I'm looking to enter and prices move like this, already delivering right above the halfway point, I'll usually tend to wait for confirmation on the retracement. Because now at this point, like if we do start coming down, we could easily fall through this. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably move this and try to catch something like maybe we hit this, we'll come down into it if we can leave it, and then I'll look for a re-entry on that. So added confirmation. And if we end up just coming straight down into it and holding, I'll just miss it and that'll be okay. All right, demanding of the entries. 5 minute, 2 minute. We're gonna have a 5 minute fair value gaps. That's fine as well. Especially because NQ is pretty weak. He said, "You ain't the vibe. You ain't a pothead." That's all right. No, I'm just kidding. That's kind of where I grew up, so I guess I like Colorado a lot. Been all around though. Arizona, South Carolina, right? Texas right now. We in College Station, so Texas A&M. I'm a big fan of the warmth. I'll say that. Humidity though, not a big fan of humidity, so that's why I struggle with the warmth. I like that. Kind of eyeing NQ. We might end up having to take an NQ trade, to be honest. We'll see. We'll be fluid this morning. Okay, so let's see if we can come back down into the original buy side. At this point, new swing high, so if we can confirm this, it may give us a target to aim for, right, that high. Watching the volume imbalance and today's first presented, still, we could hold that potentially, especially as NQ falls a little bit more. It seems like it might pick up a low. So if we revisit the opening range in NQ, ES may not even want to get back down that far. Most recent 5 minute may end up holding. So we can kind of label that as well just to see how it interacts. You'll notice that consequent encroachment of this 5 minute is aligned pretty nicely with the opening or the first presented from today as well, the low of that. So yeah, I don't mind trying to find some type of confirmation entry within this. And since we understand midpoint is the 5 minute, we could actually just move the 5 minute. I just wanted to see what midpoint was. Have we inverted this? Okay, not quite yet. So we fully repriced into NQ's fair value gap. My expectation was we're probably going to run out this low, keep coming lower. SMT at the highs, right? Original high and not broken. ES has. So let's say that we actually like give a quick bounce, because I really still do favor shorting. Just because, as we said, all-time highs, clearing daily highs, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. A lot of higher lows. Trend line liquidity in here. So I'd rather favor a short. So if we can like come back into this and bounce and then fall through it, that'd be good to try to short. With NQ hitting this opening range though, we may get a bounce from here. I'd like to see if NQ can actually invert this bullish fair value gap. As you said, ES comes right back into that volume balance right here. So with this momentum, we'll just follow the discounts, because if it does stay strong, it could just keep running, to be honest. And we might just miss out on that. So I'm going to try to eye up shorts instead. No tap? Shoot, on which one? Five-minute inversion. I'm tripping. Which one's that? Oh, okay. I was like, I'm tripping? That makes more sense. So that 5 minute did hold for the short. Okay, okay, I see what you mean. Too precise, he says. $2 million. Okay, so we're probably gonna hold that. Yeah. Make another run, pass for the high. We'll move this. Maybe we'll get to second standard deviation of this current leg here for projections and then reverse from there. I need to fix this. I don't want to have it. Interesting. SMT there again. Okay. So we'll see if actually that wants to hold, maybe. If we run out this high and reject. Okay. So NQ still is unable to get that high. I'm just trying to see if we're going to fall back down into this range now. As we run this high, it's that wick. That's kind of what we talk about with liquidity runs versus true breaks in structure. So as of now, we've wicked that and remained in the range. If NQ breaks this high though and keeps pushing, then ES may actually want to get up here. One thing that I'm going to start using actually is we have these things called, when we're at all-time highs, this indicator here, it's like the average daily range of price delivery pretty much, right? So it's taking the last year in price and it's taking like the average standard deviation from the daily open. If it pops up, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Okay, so what a daily open is, when we don't really have targets, this is something that I'm looking at as well, which is just the average range in standard deviations of the daily candlestick, right? Based off historical data. So it just gives something to aim for when there's like nothing to aim for really. So as I see this and I understand, okay, well, we may actually end up wanting to come up here to this level. We'll leave it on for now just to see how it gets treated. What I'm watching here now really is, so we're going to run this high first. We create the wick, we maintain the range. We hold it again. If we displace above that high, closing above it, that's kind of when we would look at that as a potential gap. Okay, so right now we're holding it, but I want to see if we end up getting above that because that might hold price and accelerate us into second standard deviation and then that half here. Especially if NQ could break this high. For the time being, NQ holding its first presented. If NQ gets above its first presented, I actually would expect that to hold. And that may be what long we could actually try to take. Let's see. And we could just aim for one standard deviation of this leg potentially. Should be here. That maybe work. We'll keep watching this here. We may go with NQ. Wick holding still. We try to get out, right? We try to open with the volume imbalance, immediately rejects. So now we'll see if we can actually leave. If we did leave it, in my mind, we'll probably try to use that as support. Wicking the high, same thing. Oh, okay, we did close above it there. So see if we use that now to run us into this second standard deviation. Perfect, yep. I'm about to do that exactly. Look at that delivery, jeez. So as expected, as soon as we close above it, that's going to be the new area of support. Price taps it, and then taps that second standard deviation to the tick. It's actually pretty nice. We'll see if NQ closes above this first presented here. I'd really want to see it close above and leave an inefficiency. So there's that second standard deviation. Perfect. Technically, it'd be one standard deviation from this range. It's just the number 2. Right, so whatever this high to low is, one standard deviation of that. Higher is what we would expect when we break the range. And I mean, that's perfect, right? Perfect delivery. So at this point, we did hold that. So yeah, we're still kind of stuck here. We can follow this, right? This is kind of where we'd hold to go long. So that's an opportunity if you wanted to try to get in. You'd have to use the most recent low. I just want to get short, if I'm being honest. So I'll probably disregard any long setups. And if we just keep running higher and higher and higher, I'm fine not taking anything today. Oh, and there it goes. Okay. Hey, it's nice to see though, right? What does it reach? So as we said, that level right there. Not random at all. From midpoint. Yep, so that would have been the setup. So at this point, we'll see if we leave this open. We leave this open, maybe we can use NQ. We're a little high in ES for me to want to hop in right here if we're going to try to go long. But we've actually broken through this high, closing above it. So if we can leave a fair value gap in NQ, we'll test that this morning. I want some type of inefficiency. And then I'll probably just use the actual first presented with this OB. This swing point to target right there. Oh, that's why, okay. We'll switch it up for now, since we're going to be in NQ. So in NQ as well, right? Look at that. That's also the same level that we're speaking of here. So the daily open, if it pops up, where's that in here? I think it's actually perfectly aligned with this, so we can't see it. Right, it's that same idea. There's a standard deviation level from the daily open on a 1 minute. Look at the respect there. Perfect. So we left an inefficiency. I'm trying to get a little bit deeper retracement. We may have missed that. It may just use the fair value gap. I'm thinking it can give one more stab into first presented. That's what I'm gonna try to use, but it may just use the most recent discount and we'll miss it and it'll just run. We'll see if we can't hold from here. Closed above. Okay, we might actually keep running here. We do have a 2 minute, so potentially we could retest, but it seems like we want to go bullish. Potential 5 minute actually. So we'll hold this for a little bit. Same idea though. If we get above halfway, we might have to just wait. SMT currently. NQ might not give that retracement, to be honest. We may just use every discount. Watch this now. So as we get above that standard deviation, we've created a new fair value gap. After holding this one, institutional order flow. Hopefully we can break lower and we'll see. I like that. If we invert, then we can start looking for shorts again. But for the time being, we'll just try to hop on board with the trend using first presented from today. 2 minute fair value gap. We'll look for a full reprice into that pretty much. But we understand if we don't want to, this fair value gap here will hold and we'll just continue to pump. What's your thoughts on ES rallying up? I mean, I'm also, here's the thing. If we actually, like, war tends to be good for stocks for some reason, just historically. So, like, if we had Middle Eastern conflicts that continued to go on, I honestly wouldn't expect price to fall. As far as a continued delivery, yeah, it's just interesting, honestly, with where we are. Let's go. Let me look. Let's go to like a weekly. Let's go to a monthly, actually. Because, I mean, in reality, we could probably, like, if we did the same standard deviations to target where price will want to go based off a daily. That's kind of crazy, but I mean, that is crazy. Like, in theory, right, you would want to take the entire leg, but that's just crazy. So I'm like, I don't, maybe in years we can get up there. As far as for now, I guess I would take this. The absolute most recent high to low. So maybe here I could see that. Okay, that gives us something a little bit better because second standard deviation is the buy side. So 64, we'll say 64.60. That could be a long-term target. Aside from that, obviously we'll have more up top. We could do like 2.5. 2.5 and 3.5. Okay, so a few more targets. How does that align with the daily? Oh wow, okay. So I actually like 3. If we look at this daily, right, that standard deviation in the daily range is pretty much that third standard deviation as well. 2.5 kind of linked up too. So I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't see any reason to try to call the top. Of course, I'm looking for shorts right now, just in the short term, but oh, that holds. Did we get NQ entry? No, that's too bad. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I would expect just bullishness. Like if we, so where's this daily fair value gap at? So if we were to, oh, yeah, sorry, monthly. Like for me on a daily, we'd almost have to get below this fair value gap for me to look for long-term bearishness to continue. Obviously, some type of retracement would be nice because we don't often get these types of runs without any retracement. Like the last time would probably be, I guess, here. But even then, right, every one of these runs is met with either retracement or consolidation. It very rarely will just go, 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 go. So I honestly would expect a short-term retracement, but long-term, I would still look for higher prices. All right, one thing I've learned is you don't really want to try to call a top. That's where you get burnt. So ES gives the entry, NQ does not. Instead, we just use that level. All right, well, we're missing entries today. Here's the thing, if we're really bullish, like you could just hop on board. So I guess we could try this. Let's just try to follow the bullish trend. We'll see if we're gonna pretty much reach the end of it at this point. But right, every discount's holding. Discount holds, we get above, we displace, fair value gap holds. We retrace, we displace above the high and that level. So I mean, we'll just try to hop in right there. And just follow the bullish trend and we'll try to get third standard deviation. Something, just 5 handles. Oh, we are bullish. All right, we're not even gonna give that. What's next? We're gonna have to bring more of these. What was the 4? And let's do, okay. America profits off war. That's why it goes up. Why do you think we're always trying to get involved in some type of conflict? There's that second standard deviation just below it. So I would expect that, right? Third in ES. I had a limit in ES. That's unfortunate. Like this. I was going to try to use that second standard deviation again. Stop under this swing low to target this high. But we fall just short. So that's why I'm going to try to pretty much just follow the trend now. But areas like this may become breakaway gaps, right? Because if you think about it, we've wicked first. We trade down. We wick again. We trade down again. And we displace through. So it's been rebalanced and delivered efficiently. Which is why I would like this. Because if we're going to get entered here, it should move away quickly. Or it should fall through quickly, right? This will be a spot where like we're right or wrong quickly, which is kind of what I like. But at the same time, if that truly is balanced, it may not even want to make an attempt. I'd like to see one more try. What's this? Let's go to the daily levels on this again. Half. So we already have one's up here. That's a little up there, actually. I don't know if we'll do one. I like that, though. We'll do that. I mean, if we start trending, we'll be able to catch some absolute banger trades, so that'd be nice. Go back to like we were doing where we hold for the whole daily range or stuff like that, whole AM session. Oh, you're a you have, okay, you served? Have you served in the military, Cal? If you have, appreciate your service, brother. Didn't know that, that's cool. 8 years, damn, hell yeah, respect, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, I agree, though. It definitely is interesting. And I mean, at the same time, I'm not really someone that's too fundamental, but interest rates I do kind of watch just because that affects a lot of different things. And there's a lot of pressure on Powell right now to start dropping interest rates. So if that's the case as well, we should see this continued pump. So in reality, everything is kind of primed for just continued bullishness, even though it wouldn't seem that way. That's daily high. Is this yesterday's high? What's this level in NQ? Oh, that doesn't make sense. Oh, that's just the indicator acting goofy. Okay. Sometimes it does that. I don't know why it does that. Forget about it. Forget about it. So I don't mind a little consolidation here because then maybe we can get slight manipulation into this leg. But as we said, we might just slow grind up from here using the most recent fair value gap because, as we said, if this truly is a balanced range, we'll take the wick high to the most recent low like this. As we leave it, only the most recent discount would be used, right? Because it wouldn't want to return into this range at all. So we come into this real quick, and now we're slowly going higher. So we may get like a quick explosive move again, like we did here or here. I would like to see a retracement first, though. Maybe we can get entered. And Q held that aggressively. So missed that entry there and missed this entry. 0 for 2 on entries today. That's all right. Pretty much trying to use the same wick entry, right, that we could have used here. So we get above the wick, we use it. We get above the wick. I would like to try to use it. Maybe we put our entry there. I'm going to use the actual volume imbalance. So I don't mind giving up a little bit more. Just like that. We'll see what happens if this bill passes that they're trying to pass right now. People seem to be divided. And Q's trying to release a little bit. I want to get this retracement here. Not like a 5 or 15 second. This is just going to be a little consolidation. So I don't mind that, because then if we can manipulate, as we say, run out those lows into entry. At the same time, though, this kind of leads to those explosive bullish moves. So we might get that. Watch this little volume bounce right here. Price may hold that. In trending markets, you could actually get pretty precise. So that's why I like to see if we do start trending, it'll be fun, especially as the summer wraps up. Because right, like following this, yeah, it's easy. We might miss, we might miss. Let's see if we can't get one more stab. Go ahead, don't be shy. It is a 5 minute. It's a 2 minute as well, so we have a chance. But like we said, may become a breakaway gap here. Yeah, we might go all the way. We might be real bullish today. Let's see. It'll pass. I do think it'll pass too. I'm talking about the big beautiful bill, whatever. So I mean, yeah, taxes. There's so much more inside of it as well. Early just get informed on TikTok and YouTube. But I would agree, most likely it passes. Da, 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 da. It's only been 6 months since Trump's been elected. It's already been crazy. Love that. We in for an interesting next few years, that's for sure. Fall indoor entry here would be nice. Aye. Entry. Entry, maybe? We're getting disrespected here. At this point, I don't want this to be a breakaway. I want to get in there. Oof, that may be the swing low. So we've perfectly delivered into that wick high, as we said. If we truly don't want to return, that's all price will need to do. I think we can get a deeper retracement, though. Let's see. Just one more tick below that. But as we said, sometimes in trending markets, price is so precise, so it may not even try. Say less. I thought you lived in Texas. If you're in Colorado, though, I'd love me some golf. Yeah, that'd be lit. I just picked it up like 2 years ago, but oh my goodness. Instant addiction. As everyone says, of course. Da, 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 da. Just fun. I think I just miss being outside, right? Played baseball my whole life, obviously. Thought I'd go pro. 4 years in college. Eventually realized, can't do that. But being outside, being able to swing, I just like swinging and hitting a ball. That's my favorite thing in the world. Ooh, throughout the arm, that's brutal. Not the blown. Shoulder or elbow? Tommy? You have Tommy John? Or was it like a labrum tear type? Like we said, sometimes price is a little bit too precise. We're hitting the high of that volume imbalance. I want the low of it. We should be able to tap the low. If not, that's just unfortunate. Let's go like this. Fuck it. We'll go right at these equal lows. So we can wick those lows, pick that up. But it might just run. That'd be crazy. We're gonna miss it. We are going. It's gonna run without. Shoulder. Aye. Yeah, it's no fun. Had shoulder issues before. Hey, yes sir. Good shit. Good shit. Said we were great. We were nice. Love me some baseball. Good old 4-time state champ. Player of the year. Take it easy. Take it easy. Greatness ain't easy. No, I ain't lying. I really thought I was going to make it big. Which, if I look back now, unfortunately, it really was my work ethic. That's why I think I'm so good at trading now. It's because when I started learning how to trade, I was already kind of at the tail end of my baseball career, right? And I realized, kind of wasted my potential, which was upsetting. So when I started to learn how to trade, I was like, nah, we ain't doing that. We're going full in. No more of this wasting your potential type nonsense. Have good work ethic. I was always someone that relied more on my talent rather than working hard consistently, which is unfortunate looking back at it, but it's all right, learning experience. Shoot. I feel that though. It's like that love-hate. Kind of in the same boat. First love, for sure, but now it's like almost resentment, I guess, in a way. Wish you could do more. Look how dirty Price is right here, bruh. So as we said, this could probably be a breakaway because in reality, this is already balanced here where this wick was at. So we should have been smart and just used the high of the wick because we're probably going to miss this move now. But I thought we would get at least this volume bounce. We couldn't even do that. We'll go like this in case we can get a little bit more consolidation. One more run into it potentially. But if we start running, we'll understand why. But not Cal. At least for me, I try to enjoy the memories. I don't know, or like right after I graduated, it was a lot more, like you say, saltiness associated with the memories and whatnot. Wishing you could do more and things like that. But now, just grateful for the time I had. And that's why I replaced it with golf. Golf is the new. I want to get better at that, of course, but I'm not too bad. I ain't gonna lie, this right here, that stuff gets me salty. Sometimes the precision is too precise. That's whack. Clear a short-term high, come back down. So maybe seek and destroy in here. One more run on that. It's 10:30, right? So maybe we consolidate, create the morning range high, and then we could run that. It's only 10:30. We have time. So I'm going to leave this here because we could still potentially run these lows out and hold. You suck. That's funny. It is like therapy. That's so true. That's what I'll be telling my lady. It's just like so relaxing. Just the sound, sun on your body. Get a few buckets of range balls, head out there to the grass. I think I'm like a 3 handicap right now, but I'm trying to get scratched, bro. I don't think it's a spread, honestly, because I didn't get entered on my actual funded either. But I mean, maybe. It's just that my actual entry was here, right? So the spread's not going to hit you in on that. Should have just used low barrier for entry. We'll still leave it there. We have a chance. Let's see, it's on a 5. Yeah, that was the 5 too. Yeah, we probably should have just end the 2-minute. I'm not convinced though. We could get one more tap of that. Let's try. Usually though, when we see this type of movement, consecutive down close candles, these become the order block. So now I'm watching this, right? And as we say, in these type of markets, if you really are trending, it's very easy to follow this. So I'm thinking, all right, well, if we want to be bullish and we don't want to return into this, now that we've closed above this candle right here and here, most recent volume imbalances will probably try to hold price with this. So we have this one and we have this one. So now my area of interest goes here, and I'm thinking, all right, if we are very bullish, as we're saying, and we haven't gotten a third standard deviation, it'll hold from here and it'll run out this high and it'll just keep pushing. So like in theory, you probably could do this if you wanted to. But as we said, I'm more so a little bit more demanding. That's a valid entry. I'll look for the retracement. What would that give you, 10? It's 0.25. I don't even know what it is. I don't think there is a spread. There might be slippage, but as far as like on futures, that's kind of why I like futures. There usually isn't really, is there? I know for like my Top Step accounts, there wouldn't be any spread. But I guess that was their own platform, so maybe it's different because that wasn't Tradeovate. But even on my like Tradeovate funded accounts, usually I'll get exact entries. Who knows? Oh, paper. Yeah, paper, there might actually be a difference. Because yeah, that's like that's TradingView's own personally ran. So you're probably right in that aspect. So far though, right, look at that. I almost would expect a straight bullish move from here. I kind of want to put one in right here. Should we just try that? Just one. Just to follow. What is that? 1 to 1.25 would get us. What's the halfway point? Maybe we build a position here. One here. I kind of would want to use this one. Let's try to build a position. So we're going to go like this. I'm actually just going to use this, and I'm going to look for a retracement still where we can add more. So then it'll average out our entry. And if it runs from here, we could still be involved into that. Because as we said, potentially if we just want to remain bullish, we're going to hold this OB, this last set of down close candles that clear a short-term low and return into this inefficiency. And if we run lower, I'll still have this entry, so I could kind of build that position and then try to get the full release. If we just run straight into this here, we'll just close it. Right, because it's a 2-minute as well there. 5-minute volume imbalance. That's what I'm using. I'm looking at this 5-minute chart and I'm just using the most recent volume imbalance for entry. So as we trade it into that, that's where I go long. Do you have those on your chart? I used to have those. I turned them off though. Yeah, I have mine hidden. Maybe then. Oh, you have them off. Okay, I was gonna say, so do I. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Wait, how do I go back to hidden? What? Hello? Bruh. Oh, okay. So as we said, for here, just gonna build a position. I don't mind putting on a little bit more risk. Try to catch a trending move. I see what you mean, Mike. Yeah, potentially. That's why ICT is always taught. He really taught one handle. So wherever your entry and exit would be, you go one handle above and below. That's a little much for me. So I'll start going one tick. But I mean, you've seen it, right? Where even our exits, like it hits our exit perfectly, hits the entry perfectly. So yeah, that's one thing of too precise facts. It's crazy to think. Like, we're really too precise. That really is, I don't know. It's just wild. My whole mindset of like, the more I learn to trade, the more I realize stuff is really just controlled, manipulated. Very eye-opening in other aspects. Because it's funny to think back, like my first year, not even like the first month, right? When you're just first learning, what are even candlesticks? And then you're looking at a chart and it's just like foreign to you. It's like, you have no idea what's going on. There's no way any of it can make any sense. And now it's almost like everything makes perfect sense always. Like nothing's ever random, which is just a crazy paradigm shift. Yep, over and over. You've seen it. You've been here the longest. But I see MJ back. MJ, you were an original member. You've been in here since I left. Same with Anti. Anti's the oldest, I'm pretty sure, though, besides you. Yep, I was going to say, Anti's been here. The OG. Chris is. I think you're the newest. Chris, welcome, man. Damn, you were in that? Dropping my aliases. I didn't realize you were in that. That's wild, actually. That was the first. Yeah, that was like OG. With Zeusy. Me and Zeusy. Ah, that's hype. That's fun to think. I love that. OG memories like that. That was a good time. Hell yeah. Okay, I like it. Hey, respect. Yeah, that was years ago too. That was fun though. I did like that, helping out people every day. A little community. We would have those like live streams and stuff. That's kind of what led me into this, to be honest. It prepared the way. Paved the way for me to get into daily live streams. Built my practice there. You're conflicted with ICT, let's see, because of social media. Just wish you could back his stuff in some form. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of people have that issue with him for sure. I've been around long enough to where I have seen, like, he's done it before. Not as often though, but like 2022 or 2023? He ran an actual live account, right? A Tradeovate, or not Tradeovate, I want to say Thinkorswim live account from like 30K to like 90K, tripled it, all live funds. And then he actually came out and released the broker statement for every single trade. But that's the only time I've ever seen him do something like that. And aside from that, like, yeah, I can agree with you. He hasn't really shown live results. But I'm someone who, I guess I didn't really need that. Like, once I saw how these things work in theory, I didn't really care about what he was doing personally. And I think that's where a lot of people get like thrown off by him, which is fair, right? His personality is very divisive. I liken him to Trump in that way, to where it's like you either love him or you hate him. The whole Robbins Cup debacle from last year, I think that'll be a pretty big stain on him. I can admit that, because that was unfortunate. But like I said, I don't really care too much. It's just when you say so you're going to do something like that and then not at all, hard to come back from that. But I will always give credit to where it's due, right? He's taught me everything I know. Forever grateful for the man, the myth, the legend, Michael J. Huddleston. Ultimate troll, bro. Oh yeah, ultimate troll. I'll give you that. That's what I think. I think he just loves doing that. Like that, he gets a rise out of it, and it's funny because people get so upset, or they feed into it. Very true, Mike. I agree with that. Is that for some reason or another, it does get to him when people say that he's a fraud or that his stuff doesn't work, which I guess, like, if I think about it, and let's say that I spent my whole life doing something and I know it works and I've helped others do it, and then people tried dogging me, maybe I would be upset too. I don't know. Easier said than done to just say, right, who cares, ignore it. But when that's your life's work, maybe it's a little bit harder to ignore it when people are trying to take credit for your stuff. Facts, yeah. That I was gonna say that is one thing that. Oh wait, what'd you say, Cal? Patrick Wyland has been talking. No, has he? I had to mute him, if I'm being honest. I muted him pretty early on in my Twitter journey. Patrick, anyways. I mean, he's almost like one of those ICT guys where it's make noise to drive engagement. That works for people. But yeah, so many people do rebrand his stuff. I agree with that. But hey, you can't sell, right? It's easier to sell things when you market it as your own or something new. I think that's why people do that. Like, not calling anybody out, but I see so many like, oh, my inversion model or my 930 model. Well, it's like, I mean, not really. They're just models that were already created. Like, let's be honest. I feel like I would drive so much more attention if I came out and was like divisive like that. Or like said, oh, I know I'm so much better than anyone. No one could read price like this. Look at this model here. Like that stuff drives engagement, right? But at the same time, it's like, it's not really worth it in my mind. I'd rather have a genuine organic following with people who actually want to just learn rather than like some hype following, you know? Because the thing is, if you build organic followings, like those last a lot longer. Like, I mean, like you guys in here, right? You guys have been around for years. And I didn't even do anything all of last year. But yet, we're still here. Where we at? We're releasing. Let's see if we go. Okay, we might just run then. We might not miss. We might cut the entry. We'll try to close it there. Mikey is terrible, he says. Everyone. Yeah, eventually, right? Like I said, for me, I don't really want to be like an influencer, so. If we can grow the Discord eventually, that'll be nice. Which I think we'll get there. in no rush. Interesting. Potential SMT. I want this more to be bullish run. We did come into that lower volume balance, as we said. If we end up getting into that, right, this is the midpoint between those standard deviations. But maybe we just go for 5 handles, since it's, yeah, we'll just do that. It's 1 handle below, so there's no need to stay too aggressive, I guess. Didn't have the ball. Yeah, no worry about that, Kyle. You're getting more like, right, all-time highs is a pretty interesting scenario to be in, just because we don't have stuff to aim for. So if you're not used to it, it could be a little nerve-wracking for sure. It can feel like you're chasing price, you know what I mean? But we understand we're not really chasing. We're just using the most recent discount. So that's funny. Some people who know nothing. Yeah, that is crazy. People pay for get rich quick schemes. Who knows? Maybe I run some Twitter ads one day. My girlfriend's been on me about doing that. I'm like, I'm not trying to be like a salesman. But she gets a little upset. She wants me to grow so fast. You can do it. You know what you're doing, she says. I make fun of her, but I love it, of course. Great support system. It's just funny. Facts, anti. That's how I be too. It's entertaining. Can't lie. It is tough though, because even since when I joined, like a year, even let's say 2 years ago, it's gotten a lot more drama filled than it used to be, which I guess that's how things work, but it's turned into like a lot more competition. Before it was just like traders showing trades, just talking. Now it seems like everyone's saying, oh, the #1 trader. Can you do this? Look at how much money I made. True, that would be lit, Mike. We had one. Okay, so this trade should work out. At this point, let's get rid of these. And we'll go like this. So this is all we got today. Oops. We gotta wait for it. Sweet. We should get here. Midpoint. I'm fine at 5 handles though. Look at NQ, goodness. So NQ didn't give anything. ES did. Should get midpoint. Yeah, I got that. My one tweet that blew up was because ICT commented on it. He didn't even retweet it. He didn't do it. Didn't even like it. He literally just replied to it. And immediate. 1,000 likes. The pool he has is crazy. I will say that. He is like a cult leader. Like the amount of people that he could be gone for years and years. He'll do a live stream on YouTube, 6,000 views immediately. Facts, Kyle. I agree. I'm very lucky. We're very blessed. Especially because she, like, I always say, she was in my room, right, in college when I would be watching ICT on my fucking TV for hours. She'd have to fall asleep to Michael's voice. So she's been through the ringer. I always tell her, I was like, if you tried to learn low key, you'd probably be good at it because you already know so much. You've heard Michael just as much as I have. Yeah, keeper, no doubt. You're right, Kyle. I'm lacking. No, I will. We talk about it all the time. We just want to be settled. It'll be a lot easier to plan all that when we're like, know where we're living. Hard to do when we're bouncing every 3 to 6 months. But honestly, I'd probably guess another year or 2 and then we'll be settled down for a little bit. Swing high exit. Hello. Love it. Swing low entry. Ah, wait. Is that swing low? Yeah, we count it. We count it. We count it. That's a swing low. We could have added there, so as we said, that would have been the better one, but low hanging fruit for entry. Swing high exit. 5 handles. Now we move lower, maybe. We'll see. I'm gonna go refill my drink real quick. Okay. Still like that level. NQ is kind of worthless right now. What time was this high made? Look at that. 10:30 makes the morning range high. So to be honest, should we try this for fun? We could almost expect a turtle soup here is what I would look for. So far, all bullish. Ooh, especially if we leave that fair value gap. We might try a little turtle soup. Stop above the 3rd standard deviation to get back into the volume bounce we enter on. Expectation NQ falls, ES falls. This is risky though, to be honest. We hit that level, we would break into the volume balance. Hey, what's up, Chris? I'm new here. Hey, welcome, welcome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully you find this stuff helpful. Damn, I really want to try to turtle soup this, if I'm being honest. Only problem is NQ could just blast. I almost feel like it wants to go lower. Right? Follow your own advice. More so the short-term top. Like something like this, like a retracement, right? Is that we would still expect bullishness for sure, but you're going to need a retracement at some point. So I almost feel if we can get that retracement, that's more so just a fun entry. Challenge yourself. Go paper. The actual thing should have been a turtle soup like that. That would be the true soup. So the soup was the play. Well, if we go back into the volume balance, gives you 5 handles. The soup was souping. Damn, I thought it would go up here, but it just uses the high instead. Now you'll see. We'll start doing some crazy stuff. If we get clean price action, we could literally swing from every swing high to swing low. Like, that's very unnecessary, right? That's more so just to show what's possible. But that is possible. Right? That's kind of why I like to do it every now and then. I guess that was kind of like, what day was that? Tuesday we did that, really, in consolidation. We had 5 of the swing lows, 4 of the swing highs. Like, still bullish, really. So, like, if we came down, is this an actual daily high? Why is it there? What is that? See, I don't like when my indicator messes up. That's the one bad thing. So that level's not really anything. It's just a swing high. I don't know why it's showing the daily level. But if we're still bullish, we would expect it to at least retrace into this 5-minute 3rd standard deviation that we've closed above is kind of created where that 5-minute is, right? So pretty much one and the same, you could see that. So if we're above that, we would expect that to be support. That's the midpoint of those. We still got a few. I mean, shorts will be nice still. We caught longs, but if we start breaking down, I mean, a lot of buy side or sell side. All-time highs reversal. That's an aggressive, that's crazy though. Like if we close like that above these highs, I would expect that to just keep pumping too. NQ, same. Okay. Let's see if we start breaking down. I kind of would prefer that, to be honest. Breaking down and pick up some of these lows. Oops. Before going higher. Maybe lunch. So we could create, like if we came down into this inefficiency, we bounce, create another leg higher between 11 and noon. Lunch could make an attempt to pick up all that sell side. Because like the last time we've really cleared a low would be, geez, all the way, you'd have to go back toward here. This morning at 7:30. Since then, right, higher low, 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 higher lows, higher low, yeah, crazy. So the next leg would be like this, right, in bullish delivery. If you just want to hop on board, every swing low will be protected. That's the easiest way to do it. You've kind of seen where obviously within that you could like move it above the swing lows if you understand fair value gaps and things like that. But if you just want the safest entries, the highest possible percentage for being safe, you just use swing lows every time. Mm. Yes, didn't get into, we didn't get that low yet. This fair value gap is created perfectly with the wick. Few sets of volume imbalances though. This is really balanced as well, right? So like this is where this becomes a breakaway gap. That's how we can identify which ones should be breakaway gaps. In bullish delivery anyway. Kind of like we did here with this one. If we create wicks like these and accelerate through those wicks because price is already balanced, a lot of the times, if we're trending anyways, those will stay open. About to be 11 o'clock. I was eyeing this up here. This guy looks like a nice long NQ using that last down close candle. As we run into the low, if we're going to stay bullish, we clear this low and hold the range. Once, twice. Do we get into the down close candle? We did. 2 minute fair value gap 2 perfectly. So sometimes like it'll stay, you could, or it'll respect price pretty aggressively to target new highs. Candles are getting pretty ugly now though. When we have a lot of volume imbalances like this being created, that's kind of how you could tell. Small candle bodies. Tapered that. Yeah, we could. I mean, I'm in a conflicting spot, which is why I'm just watching at this point. If I'm conflicted, that's an obvious sign. Because I would really want, I'd like to take sell side. Like I want to start getting some of this sell side. But at the same time, you don't really want to go against the trend. So if it is bullish, it's just going to keep hitting these standard deviation points. Yeah, like we hit that first one. I mean, perfect. Second one, again, same wick, perfect. So I'm thinking it's going to want to get this one, which would give NQ. That's why that's a nice play right there. Like if you wanted to take that one. So in my mind, you'd at least get that. A new high. And then lunch is what will start targeting lows. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting, to be honest. Which is why I would think if we did give one more leg, that's okay. Lunch starts targeting all of the sell side left behind or consolidates. And then the afternoon could do that. Daily candle, full bullish. We would expect a wick. It's a monthly the same. That's valid. Just practice. Get the reps in. Like we said earlier, yeah, it can get tricky trusting longs just because it might feel like you're chasing, but you just have to treat it as if it was a normal buy program, right? And commit to that idea. And in that case, it's pretty easy because most of the discounts will hold. But it's just a matter of like you say, that conflicting feeling of almost not trusting it because we're already at all-time highs versus just hopping on board with what it's showing in real time. I'm more so at the point to where I would just probably trust what it's showing because don't want to call it top. And Q expands, stop loss would then go like here. If I was managing that, go below its midpoint, look for a 1 minute fair value gap to get formed where this inversion is. Because as we leave that, you will want to leave a discount there. That gives you added confirmation that it's going to be a bullish leg. 3.5 is what we'd look for. We were first looking for the midpoint between that. Right there. Turtle soup. Look at that volume imbalance if that stays open right there. And then we close above the wick, leaving the volume imbalance open as well. That's the new area of support potentially to get us into this level here. 1 minute here, you'd want to hold an NQ. If anything, at least this inversion. That could be like the wick, but you'd want body to hold that ideally if we're going to come into this level again. Say we do want to start breaking down, close in the bearish or the bullish volume imbalance. Look to get below this most recent volume imbalance as well. I'd wait to see displacement through a low, especially like because of this, right? We're really respecting most of the lows. If we actually displace through a low, that'd be a good sign for bearish delivery anyway. In NQ, we'd have to get back below this level here. So we did close it in immediately, okay? So right, we try to get above. We can't. Candle closes below. Closing in the volume imbalance. Next candle hits that level again. We'll see if it rejects below, as we said. I want to see if it gets below the most recent set of volume imbalances here. If we look to the left, I mean, there's really so many. That's why I'm just looking at the most recent. Because let's see, there's so many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Goodness. Oh dear, what did I do? Damn, I don't know what that is. We'll see if we get above this level though. As we said, if we wick that and end up closing above it, especially now because we already came down into this volume imbalance, we really wouldn't have any need to return back into it again. If we closed above, we did. Did we get into that? No. So I'd almost go like this. We're going to maintain no runs on sell side. You'd have to at least get 5 though. So what that's in between these two levels. It's 5 handles perfectly. 5.2, so you just go like that. And Q ended up holding the volume balance. We'll see if it can get high. Especially if it left a fair value gap there too. That'd be a little bit more confirmation. Maybe like this, just perfect right there. What is this, bruh? Oh. There we go. I'm almost thinking, what do we say, 5 handles? Kind of want to do this one. All-time highs, that was so bullish. We'll try one more. And Q wicks that, so yeah, that would have been it. Maybe not then, let's see. I was hoping NQ held that for the time being, actually. And NQ wicks that, okay. Yeah, so with NQ running that high, we may actually start breaking down. Let's see. As we often say, best entries for us will be swing lows, so we'll see if this turns into a swing low. If not, we might have topped out. We would look for a wick to hold the actual fair value gap. That's ideal. And then, as we said, we'd want to have that be a swing low. So we'd want to use the high of that fair value gap now, or at least the midpoint. If we come down lower, we might end up inverting that. Ideally, that would be the lot, like as low as it wants to go. And it just runs out the high now, or just holds that level and closes there. If NQ can close above that's high, that'd be a pretty good sign. As you said, we want NQ to get above, not create a failure swing. A 1 hour consolidation. I can see that. Oh, on NQ, you're saying. Yeah, that's wild, huh? Ran the 1 hourly higher and then just chilling. She runs the high. Keeps hitting that level. Doesn't really want to get above it. But that's the midpoint once again. 2.5. It's trying to respect discounts though. Held the original OB we talked about. That would have been the only kind of setup, and then you would just have to wait unless you partialed out and wanted to hold. But that one plays out nicely. You could say hold for midpoint between here and now. And just keep doing that. Keep hitting midpoint levels. Closure above would to me indicate we should start running. Yeah, we can't get above that. Ideally, you want the volume imbalance to hold and run that high out. But even in here, look, right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 volume imbalances in a row. So if we're going to close above, you want to now leave that either as an inefficiency or immediately rebalance and still close above this level again. At the same time, you'd want ES to leave this open as a bullish volume imbalance. Best case is it closes above the swing point as well at the same time. So leaving an open volume imbalance and breaking that high. If not, like say this gets back below, that will kind of negate this previous candle's action. Same with this, like if we close back in, come back down into the fair value gap, especially if we close inside of it. We'll see if we can't reject quickly. So that'll be stayed, that's going to close in. Open with another bullish volume imbalance. We'll see if this one gets closed in. If back to back get closed in, wouldn't be really a fan of that. As you say, though, a lot of volume imbalances, so we could almost expect most of the candles to open with a volume imbalance in some way. There's that immediate rebalance. So we come back right into this candle's high. We would have wanted to see price start moving away at that point. So if we're going to actually break back into this range, we might just stay consolidating or start falling over on itself. So we still have 20 seconds. We'll see if it can hold that wick or not. We close inside. First time. which may lead to that high being used to send us into the low of it, potentially. Ideally, we kind of try to get right back outside of it. Show that it doesn't really want to remain in this fair value gap. If it can do that, that'd be good. If not, like we say, we might end up using this level to send us into the low. Take out this swing low that we entered on. For us, we're really allowing for the volume imbalance. That's like the last line of defense, right? That's why we have that here. Stop loss below that. There's also a few fair value gaps here. So if we got below all those, we'd probably come back into this fair value gap down here. We do end up rejecting. Bodies continuing to get lower, so watching the bodies now, making an attempt. Because of that, as we say, we would expect that low to be cleared. We may even want to come back down for the low, or we'll start just breaking down and give it a little bearish leg to finally pick up some sell side liquidity. Right, in Q, as it says, it closes back below that level. It uses it as resistance, opens, immediately bearish. So we'll see if that can hold as a wick. As you said, for us, that'd be kind of the last line of defense. If we could form a swing low there, that'd be the new area for stop loss. We'd really want to see it close back up here. Okay, so it closes right there, yeah. And then you really would want that to be the swing low. If we go through that again, I'd expect stop loss. You want to see the high of the volume imbalance now be the reactive spot, since we already made the swing low on the low of it. Kind of same idea in NQ, right? You'd want that to be the swing low. We clear a little short term. Oh wait, do we? No, those are equal lows, okay. Holding the fair value gap though. We'll see if we can get back above this level. If not, we'll probably visit these equal lows. And then same idea in ES. If we start holding midpoint of this wick, we would expect that the low here gets targeted. Turning this into an inversion. Like if we were to close below this, you could almost use it as an inversion level now. Two-minute, 5-minute. Yeah, we close below. Okay, so we'll probably invert that, come for these lows. We would pretty much need to see this candle overtake that, negate what this candle did by closing above this wick or back above this level. As we retest it, if we're bearish, it'll hold that level. It'll fall through the volume imbalance. Make another pass at this low. We'd want to see speed through that level, attempting to close back above the wick, attempting to at least close above midpoint of the wick. The actual fair value gap is here. So we're looking at the wick because I like that better. But the fair value gap itself, right, that's going to be an area of resistance as well. We close below it, we use it. So we'd want to make an attempt to get above that quickly, or we're just going to hold here, fall through. We get back above the fair value gap, then I'll move my stop. Can't lie, fellas, I'd be gone already, but I'm just putting off cleaning. Oh, I hate, that's the one shitty thing about moving. Always having to clean. Might end up being here through the afternoon. Oops. So that's not good right there, right? We wouldn't want that. I'd almost expect another pass at the low. So just say we end up using it as the inversion, making another pass at this closure below. We'll get stopped, or we'll just come right down in this candle, and we'll kind of start the bearish legs lower. Especially because we pick up this low and NQ doesn't. So really we would need to reject from here and try to make SMT and not let NQ come back down for this low. Closure below, expectation that uses, yeah, we're probably going to get stopped. So we would expect that this now becomes resistance. It'll use it as a level to tap to actually send it lower. If we can reclaim it somehow, then we may be able to negate this, but I would expect that we'll probably just run into these lows, and then we may try to actually pick up some sell side finally. We have this inefficiency, some volume imbalances. That'd be a nice little magnet to reach into. So there's a tap of that, using as a resistance level perfectly. We'd look for the low. You also left a fair value gap too. So if we don't run just straight for this low, I'd expect that if we're going to come visit this, look how that fair value gap is perfectly where the volume imbalance is at. We would use that as well. What? Huh. I would expect almost an immediate rejection from there if we're not going to be able to close above that. I don't know what the heck that is. That's interesting. Just retesting that wick or this inversion again. Interesting. That's the third. Yeah, that was crazy. So let me grab those. Right up into that level. ES simply just holding, so that I would for sure expect stop now at this point. And then, as we say, we'll probably start breaking down eventually. What's a 5 minute looking like? Cool. So there's stop. Can we get sell side now? One more. Almost could have flipped that. Peace out. I'm out. Yeah, take care. At this point, we'll probably be done too. We'll just follow it. I should probably get going. I'm just procrastinating. But no, it's good hanging out this morning. That one, right, a little risky, which is all-time highs. 1 for 2 this morning. Nice longs off the volume imbalance. 5 handles. Swing low to swing high. Had the swing low here, but eventually we're just going to start probably coming back down into this range, which will be okay. Start targeting some sell side. No problem, no problem. We'll be back, as we said. We'll be moving. We leave on Saturday morning. Just keep an eye out in the Discord. I'm guessing it'll probably be Wednesday, the next stream. Let me just see what we have next week for news anyways. FOMC, oh, that's just minutes though. Okay. That's not too bad. So, I mean, we don't have high impact news Monday or Tuesday anyways. So that'll work out. Because my guess is Monday coming off of a holiday, being at all-time highs won't be too interesting. And then Tuesday, no news. So we'll come back Wednesday morning, 9:25. We'll plan for that. Until then, take care, everybody. Have a nice weekend as well. Appreciate the well wishes. And we will talk Wednesday. See you guys around.